The big question this week, everybody wants to know where Kyle Tucker's going to end up. Earlier this week, there were a lot of reports that Kyle Tucker was in Dunedin at the Toronto Blue Jays spring training facility. So let's get into where I think he's going to end up, because if you asked me earlier this offseason, at the beginning of the offseason, I would have told you with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I don't think that's the case anymore. So let's break it down. So as I said earlier, if you would have asked me going into the beginning of the offseason where I thought Kyle Tucker was going to end up, I would have told you either the New York Yankees or the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I don't think that's the case, especially with the new reports coming out that Kyle Tucker was at the Toronto Blue Jays spring training facility in Dunedin, Florida. I do now think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that he's going to end up in Toronto with about $400 million off a contract. And I think it's a great fit, and I do think that the Toronto Blue Jays are going to become the Los Angeles Dodgers of the American League, and they've got the money to spend, and it makes the most sense. So if Kyle Tucker does follow my prediction and end up with the Toronto Blue Jays, let's take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays lineup and see what it would look like with the addition of Kyle Tucker. If you add Kyle Tucker to the current lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays become the favorite, in my opinion, to win the World Series in 2026. This lineup looks scary. You add Bo Bichette to this lineup, and they become the favorite, in my opinion. And the Toronto Blue Jays, like I said earlier, look to me like they are going to try to become the Los Angeles Dodgers of the American League. Outspend everybody and get the right guys to go out and win a World Series. And adding Kyle Tucker is a step in that right direction. Going out and getting the right guys, the guys that people don't want to spend the money on, but they would like to keep, but just don't want to spend that kind of mega deal money. So when you break it down and you look at the lineup and you look at the money, he's projected to make $400 million when he signs his contract. The Toronto Blue Jays have the money. The Toronto Blue Jays seem to be the best fit, especially when you look at the lineup. So in my personal opinion, the Toronto Blue Jays are going to be the team that Kyle Tucker signs with this offseason. Y'all are going to have to let me know in the comments what you think. And as always, if you want more daily baseball and sports content, you have got to follow for more. Also, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on my YouTube channel, as well as follow me on all social medias. Link is in my bio.